Good morning. I am popping on for a little coffee talk with all of you this morning. You might recognize this from my Friday Five Things email. Yes, I do use this mug. It's real. I take it with me. In fact, last week on the beach, when I went to the beach, I took it with me. I'm going up to Ohio to spend some time with family. Coffee mug's going with me. No, I'm not a very light traveler if I don't have to be. If I need to be, I can be a very light traveler. But if I don't have to be, the coffee mug is going with me. And my mom doesn't have a coffee bean grinder, so the grinder goes with me too. I am popping on this morning because after my vacation, I am feeling pretty fresh and I am feeling like there's a lot of lessons in my life right now, and I really truly believe that if you feel like you're learning something, it's your responsibility to share it with those around you, because what you're learning can be useful and helpful for those around you too. So in case this is something that is useful to you, I'm sharing. um, I spent a lot of my time fearful when I worked in corporate America. I was afraid of going after what I wanted most in life, because I was afraid of lots of like financial repercussions. That was the biggest one probably for me. I think that was a crippling one. I was also afraid because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I don't know if you can relate to that. It took me a long time to feel like I knew what I wanted to do. And I'm pretty clear on that now, but it took a heck of a lot of work to get there. And I think sometimes we expect that journey to get where we want to go, to get the clarity. We expect that journey to be like a snap of the fingers, and it's just not. But the thing is, are you letting fear hold you back from starting that journey? So, what are you afraid of is what I'm curious about. When I was back in corporate America before I left my job, I wrote an article, Feeling the Fear, and I put that link in there for you to take a look at. It's along the lines of, there's books written about this topic. There's lots written about this topic. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway if you know what you want to do. Fear is such a signal in my mind that there's something interesting there for you to learn. Fear is certainly a signal. None of us are being chased by tigers. If you're watching this, I guarantee you're not being chased by a tiger. And so the thing is that if you are feeling some fear in your life, that's a signal. That is a signal that there is something for you to explore. And personally speaking, I can tell you that anytime I have felt fear, it's something I need to lean into, not step back from. The most amount of growth has come from discomfort and feeling like I am rolling around in the mud. And I think it's really important to be able to step into that place, to step into those dark places and explore what it is that is causing that. It's a way to get to know yourself better. And that's a choice. So much of this is, are you someone that wants to be on a journey of growth, or are you not someone that wants to be on a journey of growth? That's a choice. Either way, it's a choice to raise your hand and say, I'm on the journey of growth, or no, I'm not on this journey of growth. And I can tell you that I personally want to be able to raise my hand and say, I'm on a journey of growth. With everything that's happened in the last 3 months, the death of my dad, the decision to file for bankruptcy, which I've talked about on, I believe it was episode 41 of the podcast. All of those things, all of those hard things are places to grow. And I firmly believe that growth is always an option. No matter what you are up against in life, you get to choose. You get to choose if you are going to stay stuck, if you are going to stay where you are, or if you're going to believe that growth is an option. And even if you do believe that growth is an option, you might not have the tools there to grow, but you know it's possible. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning. I'm thinking about all of the dark places that we can go, and we can let it take us down, and we can just roll over on our backs and say, I'm done, throw our hands up and say, I'm choosing to be done with this. I'm not going there. I'm not going to let myself grow and get out of where I'm at. Or we can choose to grow. What do you want to choose? If you're feeling like you want to grow, there's probably a lot of fear. There's probably fear of failure. There might be fear of success. You might feel like you are procrastinating. Right now, I am reading a book, reading a couple books. As a matter of fact, I am reading The War of Art, and I've put this book off for a really long time because I've read some passages and they sound so like masculine and testosterone filled, and like I am going to war with my art. And you know what? We are sometimes. And so I finally got into this book, and it's Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. But something that struck me right away in this particular book, he talks about what it is that brings up what brings up resistance to what we want to do. And basically anything that's worth doing brings up resistance. So, any creative endeavor that you possibly want to do, no matter how big or small or conventional or unconventional, it's going to bring up resistance. There's so many voices in your head, and there's so many external voices telling you that you shouldn't do it, that you should stay stuck. Launching an entrepreneurial venture, oh my God, everybody wants to tell you why you shouldn't do it and why you should stay in the safety and the comfort of where you are. How many of us have tried to start a new health regime or diet, and the resistance that comes up there? So all of these different things. And he's saying basically anything political or moral, ethical, those things, anything that's worth doing, you're going to experience resistance from. And I can say honestly that that's true where I am, even where I am now, working towards building this business of mine. It's not like it's easy. It's not like everything is pie in the sky. And I really don't think that it is. I don't think it's healthy for us to be optimistic for optimism's sake. Let me say that again. It is not healthy to be optimistic about just for the sake of optimism. What I'm asking you to try to experiment today is to write a different narrative. So if there's something that you really want to do, but you feel fear, or you've got the voices in your head telling you that it's not possible, or maybe even external voices telling you that it's not possible, I want you to start switching that narrative. Ask yourself, what am I gaining from staying stuck? what do I benefit from staying in this place that I am? Ask yourself, what do I experience by staying in the fear? What do I gain from letting, I guess that's an ego mindset, rule what you're doing? Because if you let the fear drive, if you let that fear drive, you're never going to achieve anything great. If you let the fear drive, you're never going to get what you want. And honestly, if you did get what you want and it wasn't because you had stepped past your fear or through your fear, it wouldn't be worth getting anyway. You know, the point of getting the things that we want is that we took a risk. The point of getting what we want means that we grew in the process. The point of getting what we want means that we did something and we overcame, and it was hard and we did it anyway. And that's where the growth is. Some people live their whole lives staying out of that growth, that area of growth. They do it deliberately. You know, they do it on purpose. They believe that that it's just easier to play in the comfort zone. And for some people, that's okay. But if there is something tugging at you, if there is something that you want, you get to choose. This is a muscle that you can flex. So choose to rewrite the narrative. So I suggested that you journal to yourself about what you're gaining from staying stuck. I suggested that you write to yourself about what you get from listening to the fear. But I also want you to journal about what's possible. If you were able to move into your fear, what would that look like? Journal. That's a journaling prompt for you. What could moving into the fear look like? What is it that you most want? I mean, write yourself a letter about what it is you most want, why you want it, and what's stopping you from getting there. And then, what is the teeny tiniest, smallest sliver of a baby step that you could take to get you to where you wanted to go? Because it just starts by putting your toe in the water, right? When I went to the beach, you know, I want to put my toes in the water. I want to test it out. And next thing I know, I'm up to my knees. And then next thing I know, I'm up to my waist. And there's that point, you know, when you get up to your waist and you're like, oh, okay, I can stay right here. And it's going to feel like really, really, really bad. It's that like, it's almost cold. It's not cold enough, or it's too warm in some spots. And then you have to fully plunge in. But you can't get to the fully plunging in if you haven't put your toe in the water. So what's the teeny tiny thing that you can do to put your toe in the water? Because I guarantee you, if you start taking those baby steps, you're gonna build the momentum to get to where you wanna go. And I'm not saying it's not scary. I'm not saying that there's not dark places. I am not saying that it's not hard. It is absolutely hard. But it's cliche, it's so effing worth it. There are really difficult challenges that I'm up against right now. And, you know, losing my dad, that's a daily challenge for me, of facing each day, knowing that he's not in it. And what I can tell you is that there has been so much growth, so much love, and so much learning, but that's a mindset that I've cultivated. It's not optimism for optimism's sake. It's flexing a muscle. It's starting to think that I have the choice to choose a different narrative. What narrative are you going to choose? It's all up to you. I'd love to know.